Money is a taboo. That's the first thing to say. It's interesting why though, actually, but let's just think about this. In most countries, people do not tell you how much money they have. Imagine if we all had it tattooed on our forehead, or a little readout, electronic readout, like on your arm or something, like in this science fiction film I saw, yeah? It'd be kind of strange, wouldn't it, if we all knew that? Why? Think about it. There's a lot of guilt and shame around it. Maybe that holds in place inequality. We don't really like to think that some people have less or more than us. That can be uncomfortable in either direction. It is a taboo, you know. I think I give an example in an older video. You might see this. I'll put all my old videos I did on this topic in a file to the side. You can see how my thinking's developed. But this is still a great example. So I'm at a festival. I think it's a Buddhist festival. I'm sat around a campfire, naked, with a load of friends. Okay, different friends, a few friends of friends. And we're all just chilling out, it's a real hippie vibe. I was talking about, I've started working with money and marketing, and people looked a bit uncomfortable. So I thought, I'll just test it. So I said to everyone, when was the last time you had sex? Well, that's a taboo, let's start there. Last week, last month, one person passed, I think. Pretty much everyone said, 2 p.m., last year, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And everyone was like pretty groovy with that, yeah? And then I said, how much money is in your bank account? Just how much money is in your current account right now? And the circle went silent, the tension was palatable. And after about 10, 15 minutes of arguing that this shouldn't be a taboo, eventually one person out of the 10 gave me this how much money was in their bank account with lots of apologies and explanations and justifying. And it was really interesting just how more taboo than sex it was, yeah? And this, comes now. If cultures different, like Britain is more taboo than America, for example. So if you're watching this in different cultures, subcultures, there are differences. In some cultures, you can be very generous with money, but you shouldn't talk about saving money. So there's sub things within that. But generally, it's a taboo, and we're almost never educated in this. Yeah. So think about school, right? What's the point in school? Some people would say, well, you go to school to get a job. Robert Kiyosaki, is it? Rich Dad, Poor Dad talks about this. No one teaches about money. How much did they teach about money at school? I remember one time I was working with a group of teenagers, and I happened to have a little mini bank statement from the cash machine in my pocket. And they were like, what's that? So it's from a bank. And they wanted to look at it. I said, sure. And it was like I'd shown them something precious, because no one was teaching them about that. No one taught. I went to university, I'm studying psychology, and I'm getting in more and more debt. No one was teaching me about debt. No one taught me about money management. I mean, my parents tried to teach me a few lessons and a little bit, but very little, and nothing in the formal education system. So is it any wonder it's a taboo? Is it any wonder that maybe you're a bit rubbish with money? Maybe rate yourself out of 10 now. 10 being as good as you could be with money, psychologically, emotionally, as well as technically. There's maybe 2 numbers there. And then, how bad, there was 0 being as bad as you could be. Most people wouldn't score very highly. I would say I've got a lot better emotionally, and I'm starting to get better technically in learning about profit and loss and things like that. You're not educated to, so why should you know that stuff? And on top of that, that's taboo. There's all this shame, there's all this trauma, we'll come to all this area. So money is a taboo. So, you're doing something brave, you're doing something courageous to face that and say, hey, this is part of life. Let's deal with it.